Sorry. Okay. Yeah, sorry I don't have a picture of my dog on this slide, so you'll have to see me later. But anyway, I'm Jeff Cobia. I'm going to talk about anxiety and other mental illnesses. Sorry it's not funny like the last few. Okay, that's really small. Maybe it is funny. There's a poem by Walt Whitman that I really like. But anyway, I'm from Chicago. I'm engaged. I'm getting married this summer. Pretty excited about that. Okay, just a warning. I'm going to talk about some disturbing things, maybe some mental illnesses, suicide a little bit. What I want you to take from this is that mental illness is not not the fault of whoever has it. Okay, so a couple things about anxiety. About 20 million people suffer from anxiety, but only a third get treatment. And what's interesting is that 43 billion doesn't factor in any kind of loss from entrepreneurs or inventors who are too afraid to do what they want to do. Panic, OCD, and phobias are all manifestations of anxiety, not necessarily separate illnesses. Depression affects about 15% of the United States, which means about 45 people in this audience will suffer from depression in their lifetime, which is sort of a sobering thought, so you should all drink. It's not just about sadness. It can affect sleep. It can affect concentration. And the real problem is that if the stigma is too high, people won't seek treatment, and treatment, even just a little bit, can go a really long way towards helping people who have depression. Schizophrenia, there's just two facts that I want to share with you. 20% of the people who have schizophrenia are homeless, and a third of those who are homeless have schizophrenia. And that's really an interesting thing to talk about as we look at different problems in society. Suicide, in Minnesota, you are 4 times more likely to die from suicide than from homicide, which makes all the political talk about homicide sort of seem irrelevant, I guess. It's especially high in young adults, and I do have a friend who once told me that she was considering suicide, but she didn't want to commit it because she thought that it would affect me too much, and I was able to talk her out of it. So you never know who you might be helping. There's a few other mental illnesses. This is not the entire gamut, but mania and bipolar are also really very serious disorders. And addiction also is a chemical imbalance in the brain, just like all other mental illnesses. I have anxiety. I have both a genetic disposition and a few environmental triggers that have caused my anxiety. I tend to manifest it in control and compulsions. I tend to worry to the point where I can't do things sometimes, but usually I'm able to get over those eventually. The ways that it's affected me, I've had situations where I attempt to appease whoever I'm with. It's been tough for my family to understand, and work colleagues tend to see me as a perfectionist, which they don't understand is more from my mental illness rather than from any drive or anything. I guess I do have a drive to do that too, but sometimes it's hard for me to go to new places, and I'm terrified of needles, which makes it difficult for me to give blood, even though I'm a B negative, so I really should to benefit people. Anyway, Governor Dayton, before the campaign, announced that he had depression, and it opened him up to some personal attacks. So some of these things, there's an Indiana attorney who had to answer some questions on the bar application and tried to sue, and the court said she had to answer them about her past mental illnesses. And so there are some various things that can cause someone to not want to reveal themselves. But anyway, I've tried to turn my life around. I've gotten some treatment, both through talk therapy and still working on some self-esteem things. But what I want you to take from this is that you should be respectful and you should be honest, but more importantly, you should encourage others to be respectful and honest as well. Some of those things include, like, saying people have schizophrenia, they're not schizophrenic. It's just little things like that that can make a difference. I'm on Twitter. An important thing about if you do want to seek treatment, talk to your regular doctor, because they can always prescribe antidepressants or whatnot. You don't have to go to a specialist. And, well, cheers.